Doom vivamus vivamus Epicureans. This is the Marvel Epic Collection Podcast one-shot edition. I'm your host, Nick Smith, and I'm joined by...
Stojr from Stojr Shelf. How's it going, Nick?
Doing well, still flustered, but that's okay. We are participating in Kurtis Findlay's Epic Marvel Podcast Reading Club. This one-shot is going to be our brief thoughts on today's issue, which is Uncanny X Men number 123. Listen, stop me if you've heard it, but this one will kill you. Alright, so Arcade manages to kidnap the X-Men despite a brief appearance by Spider-Man to warn them that this is coming. And as is his style, Arcade sends the heroes into his pinball machine of death, called Murder World, right? And they get deposited in separate rooms meant to be deadly traps for each of them. Very quick rundown there, but Stojr, what are your thoughts?
I mean, this is the most comic book issue that we're going to get throughout this whole volume, right? I mean, they're in a giant pinball machine. There's all sorts of craziness. There's a garbage truck that's sort of scooping people up. I mean, look, this is just completely, as you said at the end of our previous episode, impractical. But at the same time, you just kind of have to go with it and love it. I mean, like, I don't know where this whole murder world is that he's able to have this much space out there to accommodate all of this stuff. But I mean, and the fact that he continues to do this over the years in various ways, shapes, or forms, like I just don't know where he's getting all that stuff. It almost like it feels like a more serious concept of this would have been some way to have like an established park somewhere that like as a one-time thing, but not like building the whole place for the express purpose of putting them in giant hamster balls and shooting them around. The other thought I have is I have a like a love-hate relationship with the Spider-Man guest appearance. Like I like that. What I like about it is it's somewhat realistic, and it actually connects to an issue later on that we'll see, albeit very a very thin thread to it in the sense that like doesn't continue what happens here directly in the sense. But Spider-Man and Arcade will see each other again in two issues in that Marvel team up issue. But the so what I hated about it is kind of like it felt very abrupt. It was like, Spider-Man sees all this stuff goes down, he gets angry, smashes the telephone booth, and then nothing. Like he doesn't, you don't see him searching for anything. You don't see him checking at the mansion. You don't see him hunting down Arcade. But then the flip side of that is like that's kind of realistic because where is the giant murder world? Nobody knows where that's at. So where's he going to go and look for it? Like Arcade got away with it. And you do suffer from a little bit of like, the new villain has to, be able to easily overpower everybody. I mean, he's never going to overpower. He's never going to, sneak up on Storm in the future and shoot her in the back. So, get beyond that silliness, go with it, have fun with them. The fact that they're in a giant pinball machine and enjoy it. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, in terms of the Spider-Man thing, I almost wonder if it's because Arcade first appeared in Marvel Team Up that was meant to be the connecting thread, and I haven't read those Team Up issues in ages. That's my refrain here. Why I kind of wanted to do this podcast and read all these epics is it has been so long since I've read this stuff. So I wonder if that's just kind of all it is. But yeah, despite the impracticality of it, it's a stupid fun house of death that Arcade creates. And yeah, where is it? I don't know. There's mention in I don't think this issue, but a later issue that he inherited all of his money from his father in Texas or something. He built it there, and yet there's a pneumatic tube that takes people all the way out to New York later on. So yeah, no idea where it is, but whatever. Don't think too hard about it. I did find it kind of implausible that a powerhouse like Juggernaut would resort to hiring Arcade. And I'm curious as to how Claremont is going to justify that. But if we just take this as a wacky situation that the X-Men have to fight their way out of, then again, it's just silly fun. It's clever how they end up using their powers once they finally get the chance. It's fun to think about being trapped inside of a pinball machine. The fact that they're calling Arcade as his like code name Pinball Wizard, that combined with the waltz around again Willie that we had in the Fantastic Four 5, it's making me think maybe I should have a Marvel Spotify playlist with all these silly songs that are mentioned in here. I mean, what MJ and Peter's song is "Kung Fu Fighting." That's revealed in one of the issues, right? There would be an interesting playlist. Anyway, weird idea. But yeah, good fun. Implausible as all heck, but so what? It's a comic book, right?
Yeah, and I think to your point about like Juggernaut, like in the last issue, like Juggernaut is kind of like reluctantly doing this. Like Black Tom's kind of like you've tried to kill them 6 times and it hasn't worked out. So like we're gonna try something else now, right? So your characterization you have there in your head's kind of spot on. I do kind of wish, and this is more of a complaint about the future, because I didn't realize that they've kind of set him up in this early issue as like as an assassin, like as this like elite assassin. And I don't think I've ever thought of Arcade in that way in any way, shape, or form in the future, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it would have been interesting if, like, they played that up a little bit, right? Had him almost like fight with Bullseye or some other assassin characters later, but still had the murder world as like his like thing, right? Like, I always just think of giant pinball machines as his thing. So. But yeah, all good. It's all fun. Just kind of run with it, and you get the proletarian on the last page. So
Oh yes, gosh, the most Soviet of all Soviets, right? Um, yeah, that Get Up Colossus is in. Do we need to talk about that at all? Do you think?
nah.
No. Okay. Yeah, we can maybe talk about the proletariat a little bit more in the next episode. But okay, well, if you guys enjoyed our thoughts again, keep watching. We're gonna do these one shots every day. We have monthly review episodes of other epic podcast or epic collections. We just did one on Fantastic Four Volume 5, so find that on our channel. Links to everything is in our link tree. Do the typical podcast thing, like, subscribe, do all that stuff for us, so the algorithm will begin to like us. All right, thank you guys. We'll see you again next time.